Before we dive into today's topic, I want to tell you about something that's changed how I approach pigeon health and performance. I run another channel called Pigeon Healthy where I share natural herbal treatment methods that most fanciers have never heard of. We're talking about plants and natural remedies that have powerful healing and performance-enhancing effects on pigeons. Things like specific herb combinations that boost immunity, natural treatments for respiratory diseases, plants that improve digestion and recovery after races, and natural alternatives to chemical medications. We cover pigeon diseases you might be struggling with right now: canker, respiratory infections, coccidiosis, worms, and show you exactly how to treat them using natural methods that actually work. No guessing. No expensive medications with side effects. Just proven herbal protocols used by top European lofts. If you're serious about keeping your birds healthy naturally and improving their performance without chemicals, go subscribe to Pigeon Healthy right now. The knowledge there could save you birds, save you money, and give you an edge your competition doesn't have. Now let's get into today's topic. 3 years ago I was preparing birds for club championship race. Friday morning, day before race, I did my usual inspection. Caught each bird. Felt keel. Checked eyes. Examined feathers. All 10 birds looked perfect. Sharp keels. Bright eyes. Tight feathers. I was confident. These birds were ready. I basket all 10 Saturday evening. Sunday they raced. Results were terrible. 2 birds placed top 30. 8 birds placed below 50th. Several didn't even make it to prizes. I was devastated and confused. The birds looked perfect Friday. What went wrong? I called a Belgian fancier I'd been consulting with. Described the situation. He asked one question that changed everything. Did you check their droppings Friday morning? I said no. I looked at the birds themselves but I didn't pay attention to droppings. He said that's your mistake. Droppings tell you more than visual inspection ever will. Bird can look perfect to your eye but if droppings are wrong, bird isn't ready. You probably raced birds with developing infections or digestive problems that weren't visible yet. The droppings would have warned you but you didn't look. He told me to implement Friday morning dropping inspection as non-negotiable protocol. Before basketing any bird, check its droppings from overnight. Perfect droppings: dark brown, firm, well-formed coil, dry texture. That bird races. Droppings showing any abnormality: green color, loose consistency, excessive moisture, watery texture. That bird stays home regardless of how good it looks otherwise. The droppings are final exam. Bird must pass to race. I started doing this. First Friday, I separated race candidates into individual pens Thursday evening. This allowed me to identify each bird's droppings Friday morning. I examined each bird's overnight droppings carefully. 6 birds had perfect droppings. 4 birds had questionable droppings. Slight green tinge. Looser than ideal consistency. More moisture than optimal. Based purely on droppings, I should race the 6 with perfect droppings and skip the 4 with questionable droppings. But I wanted to test the system. I raced all 10 to compare results. The 6 perfect dropping birds placed 1st, 3rd, 4th, 9th, 12th, and 15th. 5 of 6 in prizes. 1 winner. The 4 questionable dropping birds placed 32nd, 47th, 63rd, and 79th. 0 in prizes. The droppings predicted performance perfectly. The birds with good droppings raced well. The birds with poor droppings raced poorly despite looking healthy visually. From that race forward, I never basket bird without checking droppings first. My results improved immediately and consistently. Today I'm teaching you the complete dropping analysis system, what each variation means, and how to use droppings as your most reliable race readiness indicator. Let me start with anatomy and physiology of healthy droppings. Bird's digestive system processes feed over approximately 12 to 18 hours. Feed enters crop. Moves to stomach where mechanical grinding and chemical digestion begin. Passes to small intestine where nutrients are absorbed. Continues to large intestine where water is reabsorbed and waste is formed. Waste is expelled as droppings combining both fecal matter from intestines and urates from kidneys. Urates are white or cream-colored material, birds' equivalent of urine. Mammals produce liquid urine. Birds produce semi-solid urates that combine with feces. Both are expelled together as single dropping. Healthy dropping has distinct components. Fecal portion is dark brown to olive green color. Cylindrical or coiled shape. Firm texture that holds form. The color comes from bile, digestive fluid produced by liver. Bile is green when secreted. It turns brown as it moves through intestines and mixes with bacteria and waste. Dark brown color indicates normal bile production and normal intestinal transit time. Too fast transit, bile stays green. Too slow transit, excessive bacterial fermentation creates other colors. The brown color confirms digestive system is functioning at optimal pace. The white urate cap is kidney output. Uric acid and other metabolic wastes filtered from blood. Healthy urates are small white or cream cap on top of or beside fecal portion. Size roughly 10 to 15% of total dropping volume. Excessive urates, large white deposits, indicate kidney stress or high protein metabolism. Minimal urates might indicate dehydration or kidney dysfunction. The proper small white cap confirms kidney function is normal. Texture should be firm but not hard. The dropping should hold cylindrical or coiled shape. When dry it should be crumbly, not sticky. Firm texture indicates proper water reabsorption in large intestine. Bird is extracting water efficiently. Droppings aren't too wet or too dry. The firmness also indicates proper gut motility. Intestines are contracting at correct rhythm to form well-shaped dropping. Loose or watery droppings indicate either too fast transit, not enough time for water reabsorption, or intestinal inflammation preventing reabsorption. Size should be small relative to bird size. A 320-gram bird produces droppings roughly the diameter of US quarter coin, about 2.4 centimeters. Small droppings indicate efficient nutrient absorption. Bird is extracting maximum nutrition from feed. Minimal waste is produced. Large droppings indicate poor absorption. Feed is passing through without being fully digested. Nutrients are wasted. This is either digestive disease preventing absorption or poor quality feed that can't be processed properly. Now let me teach you the diagnostic color code. The droppings color reveals specific information about liver function, intestinal health, and disease presence. Dark brown to olive brown is perfect. This is normal bile color after intestinal processing. Indicates healthy liver producing adequate bile. Normal intestinal bacteria. Optimal transit time. This is what you want to see Friday morning before race. Bird with dark brown droppings has healthy digestive system functioning optimally. Bright green is warning sign. Green means bile hasn't been processed fully. This happens with fast intestinal transit. Feed moves through too quickly. Bile doesn't have time to change from green to brown. Fast transit can indicate stress, mild infection, or dietary change. If bird normally eats mixed grains and suddenly eats mostly peas, droppings might be greener than usual. This is dietary, not pathological. But if diet hasn't changed and droppings turn green, suspect developing problem. Mild infection starting. Stress response to training or environmental change. Early coccidiosis before other symptoms appear. Green droppings Friday morning means skip race and monitor bird closely. Yellow or mustard color is danger sign. Yellow indicates liver dysfunction or severe infection. Bile production is impaired. Or intestinal infection is severe enough to disrupt normal processing. Yellow droppings almost always mean bird is sick. Bacterial infection, canker, severe coccidiosis, all can create yellow droppings. Bird showing yellow droppings should never be raced. Needs immediate diagnostic work and treatment. This isn't subtle warning. This is clear red flag. Excessive white, where dropping is mostly white with minimal brown, indicates kidney problems or extreme protein metabolism. If bird is eating very high protein diet, lots of peas and beans, excessive white can be dietary. Reduce protein and recheck. If diet is normal and droppings are still very white, kidney function is impaired. Kidneys are struggling to concentrate urates. Producing large volume to eliminate waste that should be concentrated into smaller volume. This is kidney stress. Bird shouldn't race. Needs rest and possibly medical intervention. Blood presence is emergency. Red streaks or fresh blood in droppings means intestinal damage. Coccidiosis damages intestinal lining causing bleeding. Severe worm infestation can cause bleeding. Intestinal injury from any cause shows as blood. Bird with bloody droppings needs immediate treatment. Never race. This is life-threatening condition that must be addressed urgently. Now let me teach you consistency analysis. Consistency reveals intestinal motility and water balance. Well-formed coil or cylinder that holds shape is perfect. The dropping has been properly formed by intestinal peristalsis. Water content is optimal. You can see individual coils or segments in the dropping. This is textbook normal. Bird with formed coil droppings has healthy gut function. Loose or soft droppings that still have some shape but are less defined indicate slightly fast transit or mild inflammation. The intestines are moving content through a bit too quickly. Not enough time for perfect formation. Or intestinal walls are slightly inflamed, reducing formation ability. This is mild abnormality. Not disastrous but not ideal. If color is good and bird otherwise seems fine, this might be acceptable. But combined with other signs, loose droppings suggest developing problem. Watery or liquid droppings with no shape at all are clear pathology. Severe intestinal inflammation. Infection. Parasites. Something is seriously wrong. The intestines can't form droppings at all. Everything is liquid. This is diarrhea. Bird with diarrhea has active disease. Never race. Treat immediately. Watery droppings mean bird is losing fluids rapidly. Risk of dehydration. Risk of electrolyte imbalance. This is medical situation requiring intervention. Pudding-like consistency, thick but formless, indicates malabsorption. Intestines aren't absorbing water or nutrients properly. Everything stays semi-liquid. This can be chronic digestive disease, enzyme deficiency, or chronic low-grade infection. Bird with chronic pudding-like droppings has underlying health issue that might not be fixable short-term. Not suitable for racing until diagnosis and treatment restore normal dropping formation. Let me teach you the Friday morning protocol in exact detail. Thursday evening before race weekend, separate your race candidates into individual pens or boxes. This is critical. If 10 birds are in open loft, you can't identify whose droppings are whose. Individual pens or boxes with clean floors allow you to see each bird's overnight droppings clearly. Provide normal evening feeding and water. Let birds settle for the night. Friday morning at 6 a.m., go to loft before feeding. Don't disturb birds yet. Look at floor or paper in each individual pen. Identify the overnight droppings. There might be 3 to 5 droppings from each bird deposited overnight. Examine all of them but pay special attention to the most recent dropping. That's freshest indicator of current condition. Evaluate color. Dark brown or olive. Perfect. Bright green. Warning. Yellow. Danger. Evaluate consistency. Coiled and formed. Perfect. Loose but shaped. Acceptable. Liquid. Bad. Evaluate size. Small relative to bird size. Perfect. Large. Concerning. Evaluate texture. Firm and dry. Perfect. Wet and sticky. Problem. Categorize each bird. Perfect droppings, bird passes dropping test, eligible for racing. Questionable droppings, slight abnormality but not severe, bird is borderline, make decision based on other factors. Poor droppings, clear abnormality, bird fails dropping test, do not race under any circumstances. After evaluating droppings, proceed with other checks. Catch birds. Weigh them. Feel keels. Check eyes. But droppings are evaluated first because they're non-invasive observation that reveals internal condition you can't assess by handling. Now let me show you my season-long data tracking dropping quality versus race results. I meticulously tracked 15 birds for entire season. Every Friday morning I categorized each bird's droppings as perfect, acceptable, or poor. I recorded this data. Then I raced birds and recorded their placements. End of season I analyzed correlation. The 8 birds that consistently showed perfect droppings Friday mornings averaged 14th place across 48 total race entries. 73% of entries placed top 20. These 8 birds produced 6 race wins total. Outstanding performance. The 7 birds that showed poor or questionable droppings at least once when I raced them anyway averaged 52nd place across 42 race entries. Only 19% of entries placed top 20. 0 race wins. Terrible performance. The correlation was undeniable. Perfect droppings predicted good performance. Poor droppings predicted poor performance. The accuracy was 76%. If bird had perfect droppings, it had 76% chance of placing top 20. If bird had poor droppings, it had 19% chance of placing top 20, 81% chance of placing poorly. This data proved droppings are legitimate predictive tool. Not superstition. Not old folklore. Actual physiological indicator that correlates with performance. The droppings reveal internal health status that determines whether bird can sustain 300-kilometer race effort. Bird with perfect digestion, healthy liver, functioning kidneys, balanced hydration races well. Bird with any of these systems impaired, revealed by abnormal droppings, races poorly. Let me address specific dropping problems and their meanings. Problem 1, droppings are bright green but bird seems healthy otherwise. Possible causes, dietary change to high P content, early infection before symptoms appear, stress response to training or environmental change, mild coccidiosis beginning. Action steps, verify diet hasn't changed dramatically. If peas increased recently, green droppings might be dietary. If diet is consistent, suspect infection or stress. Skip race. Monitor bird for development of other symptoms. Consider preventive probiotic treatment to support gut health. Recheck droppings in 3 days. If still green, more aggressive diagnostic work needed. If return to brown, was temporary stress response. Problem 2. Droppings are watery with undigested seeds visible. Possible causes: insufficient grit preventing proper grinding, too fast intestinal transit from infection or stress, digestive enzyme deficiency, intestinal parasites. Action steps: check grit availability. Is proper grit mix available? Are birds consuming it? Add grit if lacking. If grit is adequate, suspect infection. Watery droppings with undigested seeds indicate severe malabsorption. Fecal test for parasites. Consider coccidiosis or worms. Treat if parasites found. If no parasites, consider digestive enzyme support or probiotic therapy. Problem 3. Droppings have excessive white urates, more white than brown. Possible causes: high protein diet, kidney dysfunction, dehydration. Action steps: evaluate diet. Calculate protein content. If peas and beans exceed 40% of mix, reduce to 30%. Monitor droppings. If urates decrease, was dietary. If diet is normal protein but urates stay excessive, suspect kidney issues. Ensure fresh water always available. Dehydration concentrates urates. If bird is drinking normally and hydration seems good, kidney function might be impaired. These birds often can't handle racing stress. Retire from racing or use only in short easy races. Problem 4. Droppings are dark but very large volume. Possible causes: poor quality feed with low digestibility, malabsorption from intestinal disease, overfeeding causing excess waste. Action steps: assess feed quality. Old rancid feed is poorly digested. Switch to fresh high-quality feed. Monitor dropping size. If decreases, was feed quality issue. If feed is good quality, suspect malabsorption. Bird isn't extracting nutrients efficiently. Could be chronic low-grade intestinal inflammation or enzyme deficiency. Probiotic therapy might help. If no improvement, bird has permanent digestive limitation. Will never reach peak performance. Use for breeding, not racing. Problem 5. Droppings are normal most of week but turn green or loose Thursday night before Friday race check. Possible causes: anticipatory stress from sensing upcoming race, handling stress from Thursday evening basketing preparation, early infection that timing makes apparent. Action steps: if this pattern repeats, bird is stress sensitive. Races might be too stressful for this bird's temperament. Consider racing on natural system or young bird system where stress is different. If occasional, not consistent, might have been early infection. Skip that particular race. Recheck next week. If droppings are perfect next Friday, was transient issue. If poor again, chronic problem exists. Now let me teach you the post-race dropping analysis. Droppings after race reveal how bird handled race stress and how quickly bird recovers. Saturday evening basketing, bird has perfect droppings. Sunday morning liberation. Bird races 300 kilometers. Returns home Sunday afternoon or evening. Monday morning, check droppings. What do you see? If droppings are back to normal brown firm coils, bird recovered perfectly. The race stress was within bird's capacity. Bird processed the effort and returned to baseline quickly. This bird handled race well. Can race again next weekend without concern. If droppings Monday morning are green or loose, bird is still stressed from race. Recovery is slow. The race pushed bird beyond comfortable limit. Bird is still in stressed physiological state Monday morning 24 hours post-race. This bird needs rest. Don't race next weekend. Give at least 2 weeks recovery. If droppings are still abnormal Tuesday or Wednesday, bird was severely overstressed. Might need month rest or more. Some birds never fully recover from races that exceed their capacity. The Monday dropping check tells you whether race was appropriate challenge or excessive stress for that individual bird. I track post-race recovery droppings for every bird every race. This data shows me each bird's stress tolerance. Some birds return to perfect droppings within 12 hours of arriving home. These are tough, resilient birds that handle racing easily. They can race weekly without accumulating fatigue. Other birds take 3 to 5 days to return to perfect droppings after race. These birds are more fragile. They need longer recovery between races. If I race them weekly, they deteriorate. Droppings reveal this individual variation that you can't know otherwise. Let me give you Belgian Championship example of dropping-based selection. Franz, multiple national winner, makes final race selections Friday morning purely on droppings. He has 20 birds trained and ready. Championship race Sunday requires 10-bird team. Thursday evening he separates 20 birds into individual boxes. Friday morning he evaluates each bird's overnight droppings. He categorizes strictly. Perfect droppings, bird is eligible. Any deviation from perfect, bird is excluded. Usually 12 to 14 birds pass dropping test. From those, he selects his 10 best based on pedigree, training performance and perch test. But the droppings are first filter. Automatic elimination for imperfect droppings regardless of bird's other qualities. I asked Franz if he ever regretted excluding bird based solely on droppings. Like maybe bird with slightly green droppings would have won if he'd raced it. He said no. In 40 years using this protocol, excluding birds for imperfect droppings has never cost him a race he would have won. But racing birds despite imperfect droppings has cost him losses and dead birds multiple times before he learned the lesson. Droppings are honest indicator. They don't lie. If droppings say bird isn't ready regardless of how it looks or what its pedigree is. Trust the droppings. They reveal truth. This philosophy is common in Belgian championship lofts. Droppings are checked daily, not just Friday before races. Morning routine is enter loft, look at floor before feeding, assess droppings, identify any abnormalities, make management decisions accordingly. It's automatic habit. American fanciers rarely look at droppings deliberately. They might notice if droppings are obviously terrible, watery all over the floor. But subtle differences? Changes in color or consistency that indicate developing problems. Most Americans never notice because they're not looking. Cultural difference in attention to detail. Europeans check everything methodically. Americans rely on birds looking healthy to the eye. The eye misses what droppings reveal. If this video taught you to read your bird's droppings like experienced champions do and use dropping analysis as your most reliable race readiness indicator, hit the like button. Subscribe for diagnostic techniques that reveal what visual inspection misses. Comment poop code if you're implementing Friday morning dropping checks starting this week. And visit Pigeon Healthy for digestive optimization protocols. Probiotics for gut health, enzymes for better digestion, herbal bitters for liver support. Perfect droppings come from perfect digestive function. Support the system naturally. Read the signs accurately. Race only ready birds. That's championship discipline. See you in next video.